Rink Wide Vancouver. Pre-game, post-game, every game presented by Bodog. From sports odds to free casino games, make a play at bodog.net. Wadden and JPat here with you with another edition of the pregame. The last one before Christmas, JPat. The Canucks looking to go into the break with back-to-back wins. And oh yeah, how do you get an encore performance from Elias Pettersson after that performance last night?
Look at you, just light up every room that you are in. It takes wearing Christmas lights to do it, but hey, in the spirit of the season, why not? You're right, and it is. This is the final game for the Canucks. There was some question about whether they were going to get out of Vancouver last night with the pending snowstorm, but they made it to Edmonton, and the game will go on. And this is the last game before the Christmas break, so leave it all out on the ice. You're going to have a couple of days to rest up. It is back-to-back for the Canucks, a heavy workload for some of their top-end players last night. But when it comes to Elias Pettersson, there's been some dread around Canuck games here of late. I think there should be some renewed excitement after his 5-point performance against the Kraken. What does he have in store going up against two of, if not the two best players in the National Hockey League? Can that bring out even more from EP40? Now, I caution, because he was playing on adrenaline again. The storyline there had been sick and missed a couple of games. So this is going to be a challenge for him physically. And also, the last time he had a 5-point game against Anaheim earlier this season, he was held off the score sheet the very next game. But if Elias Pettersson can find his way onto the score sheet in this hockey game tonight, he'll have at least 40 points at the Christmas break, which is pretty incredible. I was looking at this earlier today. Last year at Christmas, and remember, the slow start, the contract, recovering from the wrist injury, the coaching change, everything else, Elias Pettersson had 16 points. 16 points at Christmas last year. A point tonight will put him at 40, and any more than that, that's gravy at this time of the year ahead of the Christmas break.
Let's get to the lineup change presented by Delaney's OK Tire out there on Fraser Highway in Langley. Perhaps a change in goal tonight for the Canucks and maybe on the blue line as well.
Yeah, because of the late night travel, no morning skate, and we're not going to know until closer to warm up exactly what Bruce Boudreau is thinking, but you do wonder if it's time for Spencer Martin to sit down and get a rest and just take your chances with Colin Delia, who is the third stringer. He got into that game earlier this year against Montreal when the Canucks were down 4-0. The hook came out, and he delivered a victory in a wild one then. Of course, last night was another crazy hockey game as well. And you just wonder if there isn't a little bit of workload fatigue building on Spencer Martin. And so maybe it is time for Colin Delia. Again, we'll find out later today. The other change might come on defense. Bruce Boudreau hinted last night that the message was sent to Ethan Bear. But we've seen this from Bruce Boudreau throughout his time as Canucks head coach. When he scratches guys, he gets them right back in the next game, and he wants to see if that message was delivered. So I would anticipate the former Oiler Ethan Bear will be back on defense for the Vancouver Canucks. Question is, who will come out? And a right shot guy plays only on the right side. I would think that probably means Kyle Burrows will have to take a seat here again tonight.
It's been a bit of a broken home for the Canucks as of late, but they have been road warriors over the last 6 straight.
You kind of have to remind yourself because there was a one-off trip to San Jose. There was a one-off trip into Calgary. They won both of those. They won the 4 games before that. So, yeah, they're on a 6-game run away from home. Of course, their last road game was that shootout victory in Calgary where they got off to a great start and then had to rally. And actually, one of their better performances start to finish, over 65 minutes as it was before it was decided in a skills competition. So we'll see if they can sort of channel that good energy from the province of Alberta and apply it in this one tonight against the Edmonton Oilers.
Quinn Hughes played a season high, that is, in terms of time on ice last night. The big boys played a lot of minutes. Let's see if they've got more fuel in the tank against the Oilers.
Yeah, this is, it has to be a concern for the Canucks. Forget visions of Christmas and your mind wandering and all that kind of stuff. This is a tough business, playing in the National Hockey League, playing big minutes, playing matchup role. And Quinn Hughes, as you said, a season high last night, 30 minutes and 18 seconds of ice time. So he crests the 30-minute mark. Played almost 3 minutes in overtime. Oh, yeah, Bo Horvat was a shade under 24 minutes. JT Miller was up over 22 minutes. And these are their horses. These are the guys that they're going to have to run out there again tonight, particularly Quinn Hughes, because he's either going to see McDavid or Draisaitl, or on some shifts, he may see both of them. So it's going to be a challenge for Quinn Hughes and the Vancouver Canucks. And it's never easy to play a back-to-back, but especially when you log big minutes in the first half. It was all about getting the victory. They did that against the Kraken, but what will they have left in reserve tonight as they face the Oilers?
Going to have to be disciplined against this Edmonton team. Of course, the Canucks 32nd on the PK, and look at that. The Oilers, top power play in the league.
Yeah, and just to put this in perspective, the Vancouver Canucks power play has been really effective, and it scored again late last night, the Brock Besser goal. The Canucks have scored 29 power play goals in 32 games, almost a power play goal per game. 29 power play goals so far this year. The Oilers have 41 on the season. McDavid and Draisaitl each have 13. There's 26. Those two guys combined have scored more power play goals than most teams in the National Hockey League. And you're right, when you compare that to the Canucks penalty kill, it was 1-for-1 last night. Kyle Burroughs took a cross-checking penalty, and they were able to kill that one off. But we know that penalty killing has been an issue. And if you go back to opening night in Edmonton, the Canucks jumped out to that 3-0 lead. But then self-inflicted wounds, they started to take penalties, and the Oilers made them pay. Edmonton went 3-for-4 on opening night on the power play. So the Canucks know firsthand just how potent this Oilers power play can be. McDavid, Draisaitl, power play, even strength. Those guys are a handful. The league knows it. And the Vancouver Canucks are going to have to be up to the challenge tonight.
Been an up and down year for Edmonton. Just one win in their last 4. However, a big win in Big D on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's a good win. You go into Dallas, a tail end of a quick road trip for them. And Connor McDavid scored, but he only had one shot on goal. It was some of their worker bees that got the job done. Matthias Janmark had a couple of goals. Warren Foegele had a goal in that hockey game. So it's not always the top end of that Edmonton lineup. Most nights it is, and certainly they contributed, but they got some support from some of the depth scorers in the hockey club. Stuart Skinner's going to get the start and goal. He's been a nice story. He's already wrestled the starter's job away from Jack Campbell, and the numbers don't lie. Skinner's numbers are considerably better than Jack Campbell, so I'm not surprised that they go with their new number one in their final game before Christmas. They want to go into the holiday break on a good note as well. So the Canucks shooters are going to face this Edmonton team that, yeah, just the one win, but a good win over a very good Dallas team, and I'm sure the Oilers are hoping that they can carry a little momentum off that victory into this game tonight.
Let's focus on their big boys for just a moment. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, 1-2 in NHL scoring. But look at RNH having himself quite a season.
Yeah, and I think people probably know these kinds of numbers, but Connor McDavid, 29 goals. If he gets another one, 30 goals at the Christmas break. It's just incredible. 29 goals, 36 assists. He's at 65 points. Leon Draisaitl's at 55 points. They are 1-2 in National Hockey League scoring, so some rarefied air there. But you talk about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins as well. 18 goals already this season for the Nuge, 41 points. We're talking about Elias Pettersson needing a point tonight to get to 40. The Nuge, he's sort of the third wheel in the Edmonton, and he's already over the 40-point mark. So he, too, feasts on the power play like so many of them do in Oiler colors. But it's been a nice start to the season for the Burnaby boy, and just another weapon that the Canucks are going to have to contend with.
The Oilers have been feasting on the Canucks as of late as well. 5 in a row they've won over Vancouver.
Yeah, and that's a streak that I'm sure the Canucks are going to want to put to an end. We talked about the one on opening night. You go back last year. Remember, Spencer Martin faced 50 shots. McDavid scored in overtime, but sort of the coming out party, if you will, for Spencer Martin, the call up from the minors, and then he faced McDavid and put on a show, but you can't stop them all ultimately, and the Oilers got a win there. And yeah, they've beaten the Canucks 5 straight times. I'm sure the Canucks feel it's time to put an end to that streak, but again, for the reasons we've talked about, back-to-back and fatigue, whatever the case, it's just the way that the Canucks have been playing of late. This one, it's going to be a challenge tonight.
Well, it's going to be a challenge for me to get my Bodog Best Bet. After I snapped a 7-game losing streak, I followed it up with a win and then followed that up with a loss. So tonight, looking at Leon Draisaitl and Elias Pettersson to win me some money. I have both of them over 0.5 assists in this game at plus 175. Leon Draisaitl has 9 points over his last 5 games. 7 of those are apples.
Yeah, 34 helpers on the season. So he gets it done. And yeah, I like that bet for him. And again, the way that Pettersson played last night, I do wonder a little bit about his stamina coming off of a week where he hadn't played. But he should be excited. The team should be excited to see if they can follow up the comeback win over the Kraken. So if the Canucks are going to have success, pretty good chance that Elias Pettersson will once again lead the way. So we will see if the setup guys go to work tonight in this final game before Christmas.
You should be excited to get into our Bodog Bucks contest. Here's what you got to do. Head over to @Rinkwide Podcast on Twitter. Look for the post. Guess the time and the period of the game-winning goal. The closest guess wins $50. Bodog Bucks. And in fact, if you want to leave a comment below here on YouTube, you can do that as well. Good luck to everybody that enters. And and a reminder, you got to have a Bodog account. So if you don't have one, sign up. And then hopefully you can put $50 into your account to start things off. All right, JPat, who's going to kick things off tonight for the Canucks? Who's going to do something in this game?
Yeah, I'm coming right back to Quinn Hughes. I mentioned him earlier, the workload last night, the matchup factor. He loves to take on these challenges, and this guy has accomplished an awful lot already in a short time in the National Hockey League. It isn't even so much about the offense for Quinn Hughes tonight. I just think this is a challenge for him to turn around. They lost an hour flying east last night, so you just wonder what time did they get in? What kind of sleep do they get? You would want to be well rested anytime you're taking on McDavid and Draisaitl. So I would assume that it's going to be Quinn Hughes and Luke Schenn as a pairing, although we have seen Bruce Boudreau go away from that at times here of late. So maybe your guess is as good as mine. But you know Hughes is going to play. He's going to play a lot, and he's going to find himself in situations where the Canucks are going to need him to win his share of defensive battles. If he can add some of offense as well, hey, he'll take that any time from Quinn Hughes. He's among the scoring leaders for this hockey club. But really, when I look at Quinn Hughes in this game tonight, it's how does he handle the defensive responsibilities facing two of the best players in the National Hockey League. So, yeah, big challenge for Quinn Hughes and the Vancouver Canucks, but Quinn Hughes is the guy I'm looking for to do something to help the cause, and we'll see if the Canucks can't squeeze out back-to-back victories here heading into the holiday break.
Absolutely. The Canucks looking to make it 2 straight, but they're going to have to do it against the big boys of the NHL, McDavid and Draisaitl and the Oilers. This has been another edition of the Rink Wide Vancouver podcast presented by Bodog. For Jeff Patterson, I'm Andrew Wadden. Remember, Rink Wide is the show that always scores.